Hey guys, welcome to the pre-beginning of Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan. I'm sure there's a beginning of Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan with this show with Mike Rowe, but this is the recorded beginning that's happening before that beginning because we had a technical difficulty. This show was originally intended to be filmed with a camera like we do all our shows and heard on audio version throughout the universe in perpetuity, but there was a technical error. And we are not able to provide you with the video portion of this interview. So it's just audio. So if you're watching on YouTube and waiting for the pictures to be coming back, they're not coming back. It's just audio. But it's a great interview with Mike Rowe, one of the funniest writers out there, who has gone through an interesting life stage where he's going to move from California and go back to the East Coast, and is really worth listening to. So put on your headphones, sit back and enjoy this audio-only version of Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan.
Hey, I'm Mike Rowe, and you can hear me on Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan, especially if you don't have pants on.
Don't be alone with Jake Hogan.
Hello, Hogan Nation. Hello, Don't Be Aloners. It's me, Jake Hogan, and you are watching Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan. I am really thrilled about the positive reaction I get for this show all the time. I get emails and comments in person, and people are liking the show and they're listening. My friends are, and people who are not my friends, my as yet to be known friends, are enjoying it. And you can be known simply by writing to me at dbawjk@gmail.com, and I will get to know you and you'll get to know me, and you can tell me all the things you like about the show and all the things you hate about the show and all the things you want the show to be. I would love to have a community of people that I can refer to and enjoy, and I'm getting that. So be part of that. That would be fun. One last thing, I just started a Substack. What is Substack? It's just another annoying thing on the internet. But Substack is specifically for this show, and we'll feature things I write about the show. Every week we'll have clips that have been cut out of other shows that were interesting, and we'll put it on the Substack. So there'll be special material, special videos, special messages, things that you can only see on the Substack. So join the Substack, Jake Hogan at Substack. Our guest today is Mike Rowe, very, very funny comedy writer who's written some amazing shows like Futurama and the PJs and dozens of other shows. He said maybe 50 other shows. And what we're going to be talking about is something that's very real in show business right now, because show business is in flux and is very strange. And a lot of people are struggling to get through. And a lot of people have decided to pack it up and go. Mike Rowe has decided to pack it up and go. He's going back home to Connecticut with his wife, and they're going to buy a house and live there. And he'll still work from Connecticut and using the internet and writing his screenplays and stuff like that. But he's leaving Hollywood. That's a big decision for any of us, but a lot of people are thinking about it. And so I wanted to find out what went into that decision. When do you think it's time to go? When do you think it is time to give up on this city, or at least start a new life somewhere else? Mike will tell us that, and he will tell us so much more also about the brave, smart, interesting decisions he's made about his life all the way through, about when to jump into show business, when you're not from show business at all, when to jump in from performing to writing, and how you keep your career going, and how you decide it's time to sort of move away and do it from somewhere else. These are all amazing decisions, and he's a smart guy, and he's done it well. So we'll hear more about that right after this.
Don't be alone with Jake Hogan.
I'm here with the delightful Mike Rowe.
And to be clear, not the Dirty Jobs Mike Rowe, which I've actually been asked to come on a podcast. And it wasn't until we were on the air that this woman realized it was the wrong Mike Rowe.
Wow. And she didn't see you and say you look differently?
Well, it was a Zoom.
Uh-huh.
Turned it on, and she was befuddled and confused.
No, he's kind of MAGA, right? That other Mike Rowe is crazy MAGA. MAGA, Dirty Jobs, and an opera singer? Something like that. He has some...
And car salesman. And,
all kinds of stuff.
So that is not me. So I actually stayed on the podcast, and for an hour just talked about myself.
Fantastic. Well, you're here to do that. And I couldn't get the other Mike Rowe. I tried.
Well, if you bought a car from him, perhaps.
Well, no, I did not try. I'm a big fan of yours. And for years, one of the things that you're known for is being super funny. Like, if I needed jokes,
right.
There are lots of comedy writers out there who I would not turn to for jokes.
Right. The good and bad for me is I sort of wish my reputation on the show would be as great drafts. That would be the preference.
Right.
But you have what you have. Like, I worked on the Comedy Central roast. I don't know, a dozen of them. And the job was, like, you're hired, say, for 3 weeks.
Right.
You just write jokes all day. You
Right.
roll in at 9, and then you're there till 7.
Right.
So you're writing, 100 jokes a day.
Right. You're reading about the person that you're writing jokes about, trying to find pieces of their lives to make fun of, and then writing shit ton of jokes.
Right. And then by the end of it, you're submitting, 1,000 jokes
Right.
at least. And if you're lucky, you get 2 to 8 jokes on the roast itself.
Right. I mean, that's the nature of those shows, is like you have to write 1,000,000 jokes to get a few that are good.
Right. Can I I'll brag about one joke
Please.
for the roast. Snoop Dogg, Donald Trump roast. I had Snoop say, Trump is thinking of running for president. Why not? It's not the first time he kicked a black family out of their home.
That's a great joke.
And it became part of the Democratic meme world.
Sure.
Not with any of my doing.
Right.
And then I'm watching Conan one night and Snoop's on, and then Conan starts asking him about that joke. Just, for a joke to have this weird afterlife.
Yeah, that's special.
Yeah.
That's great. Some of the roast jokes from the Comedy Central roasts and even from this latest Tom Brady, I'll remember my entire life. Just really funny.
It's such a fun, visceral thing because for me, especially because I don't have to tell the joke. And I get to kind of watch from the back of the room and feel like I'm telling the joke for whoever's saying it.
Right.
And you get to really hit somebody in the gut really hard. And,
Right. Well, I mean, you did stand-up comedy.
Yes.
So you used to tell the jokes.
Yes, I did stand-up comedy I started when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Did the high school talent show. That was my first time in. It was really weird because I had this thing where I was like the class clown, but the teachers loved me as the class clown and wouldn't
Embraced you.
Yeah. So it was like in, civics class, the teacher would say, what do you think of the Louisiana Purchase? Nice beat, easy to dance to. Whatever, like
Right.
whatever kid joke. And
Right.
but the room, I had a room, and
Right.
they would just laugh,
They would
and
laugh.
it'd be fantastic. I would leave there sweating like I just did a set.
But obviously you didn't interrupt the flow of teaching too much. Otherwise, they would have hated you.
Yeah, you pick your spots.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's good. So you were a class clown with taste, with timing and taste.
Yes.
That's good.
From there, there was another kid in school who was funny too, and I brought him in as a comedy partner. His name is Bill Hollywood, and this is in Connecticut, small factory town, Waterbury. And there was a comedy competition at the ground round. And so we were Hollywood and Rowe. And we did a bit. If the world was attacked, and on TV there was the announcement the world was attacked, it would still be interrupted with commercials.
Right.
And I was it was kind of like Skiles and Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
I would do all these weird sounds. So it'd be like, the world is being attacked. And I'd be, but first this word from Nestle's. And then I would do this commercial, And the prize was like $50. And you get the little plastic baseball helmet, fudge ice cream thing.
Sure.
So we lost to the Tom Jones impersonator. But
That's not unusual.
nice. See,
I don't get it.
That's where were you at the roast? But we lost, but we got hired to work there for the summer.
Oh,
to do
fantastic.
our gig.
So you really won.
Yes.
And what's that Tom Jones impersonator doing now?
Prison, like
Exactly. All right. So you started out as a stand-up, and you did that for a bunch of years in New York.
10 years.
All right. And then you came out here to try your hand at doing stand-up out here, or writing mostly?
Writing. There was a point in my stand-up in New York when I was still there. I was like 25, and I realized, I'm not going to be Carlin. I'm not going to be Robert Klein. I thought ahead of like, what happens when I'm 50? I don't like the road at 25. I'm going to be on the road. I'm going to be on boats. I admire the people that can do that. But I already had been writing. I don't know if you know my Rodney Dangerfield story.
I don't.
So I was 17, 18, and I was loving stand-up. And I would get my little cassette recorder, and any comic on TV, record the thing and play them over, learn the jokes, learn the formula, tell them to my friends. I'm 17, I'm talking about my lawyer and my ex-wife or whatever, you know. But of course, Rodney was king. This was 75-ish, whatever, on the Tonight Show with Carson. And especially him, I record the jokes and just play them over and over. And there was one night on Tonight Show where Rodney kind of talked about himself for a minute. He doesn't typically do that, but he talked about Dangerfield's, his club in New York City. And he said he used to go by the name of Jackie Roy. So my wheels in my head started turning. And I'm like, I know his formula so well. Mm-hmm. What if I sent a couple pages of jokes to Jackie Roy to Dangerfield's in Manhattan?
Right. Got
my mom's big typewriter, clunk, typed out, 2 pages of jokes.
All right. So already that's an entrepreneurial moment. That thing like, okay, I'm putting 2 and 2 together. This guy's real name is Roy. Last name is Roy. I got that. Mm-hmm. I know where he works. I know where his place is. And I'm going to put some jokes on a piece of paper. Now, did you know that that's what comedy writers did? That they sent jokes to comedians? Were you aware of that?
It was pure instinct.
That's amazing. So that's amazing.
Right. And weeks go by. I forget about it. So one night after dinner, 7 o'clock at night, I'm in my paneled bedroom, basement thing, and phone rings. My mom's top of the stairs. Mike, there's a Rodney on the phone for you. I'm like, what? I'm like, hello. Hey, Mike, it's Rodney. How you doing? You okay? Yeah, I got your jokes. They're really good. I really liked them. They're not for me, though. I can't use them. But they're really, so he kept me on the phone for 15, 20 minutes.
How nice.
And I told him I wanted to do stand-up. He told me about the clubs. Don't come to my club. It's no good. But told him about the improv and the comic strip and and then it's going to take 8 years before you're even funny, and he just, and then even sent like a handwritten letter after that.
Wow.
And so at that age, you get that endorsement. You're like, oh, well, okay.
That's surprising, honestly, that he would take the time. Okay, so you're seeing what's happening out there, and you thought it could be me, or I could be a part of this somehow. Right. To me, there's a big leap or jump, and a pretty impressive one, to go from where you're starting to sort of build yourself up to look towards that and say, yeah, that's a possibility for me.
Well, this might be helpful to sort of a lot of people, because a lot of us grow up, no matter where we live, at some point, like I can be playing NBA. I could be a baseball player and make a living, and then kids live with that dream for a while, and then real life kicks in. And that's what started to happen. It was deemed that I was not college material.
Okay.
So I was put in a vocational high school. And I
deemed by your high school?
I don't know who did this. I don't know who they were.
Okay.
But that's what the message.
Right.
I think there was testing involved.
Okay.
And so I learned electronics in high school. Learned how to fix TVs and all that stuff. And then out of high school, I got a job at NASA working on the space shuttle. So there I am. I'm out of high school. I have a high school girlfriend that we're close. We're probably in our second year.
Right.
So this I think is a line in a lot of people's lives of like, okay, the real life is happening now, and this is what reality is. And I felt it seeping in. I'm like, holy shit, I got to make a choice. Now's the time to make a choice. What's weird, I mean, again, the way things line up. Around that time, in Hartford, Connecticut, there was a stand-up comics competition. And the winner got to audition at the Improv in New York. That you get a day in New York and you get to audition. And I won the contest. And I got to New York City, and there I am at the fucking prime time at the Improv on a Saturday night, and a limo pulls up, and I come out, and I got people, and then I go on stage, and I pass at the Improv. So it's like things that you do the work, and you hope things fall into place, and I'm like, okay, I get the message. I get it. It's good. I'm doing it,
Was it hard to give up NASA?
NASA was, I worked in this tiny room with these two Vietnam vets, guys who were little, had no sense of humor.
Right. There were no parades. You're not the one responsible for blowing up the space shuttle. Can I just...
Nope.
Okay.
Although I worked on the one where the tiles fell off.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fine. All right. Well, I mean, so you get to New York, you get a spot at the Improv and you think, okay, I can make a go of this. And then you do make a go of it for 10 years.
10 years. And that's during that time when I realized, I can't be 50 and do it because I'm not going to be those guys that I admire. Again, that's interesting. Like what told me that?
Right.
I think because I didn't want to. I think it got to the point where my thing was making the comics laugh in the back of the room.
Right.
So where do you go with that?
Right. Well, I mean, you become the comics comic, I guess.
Yeah. Or you become like, we used to make us laugh at the back of the room. The Improv, come right on our show.
Right.
Some of those happened.
Okay. Well, is that where you started doing more writing for other people? Is that what happened? Did other comics in the back of the room say, he's funny, can you write some stuff for me?
No. Although I did go back to Rodney. I don't even know if he remembered who I was or whatever, but he just heard that I had jokes for him. So and at Dangerfield's in New York, his dressing room was in the basement.
I was there.
No windows, and I'm 19 and have my little pages of jokes nervously, like, my wife, and he's pacing and and he always had a robe on and and then suddenly
underwear. He was in boxer shorts and a robe and a wife beater. And
at some point he stopped and I'm like, okay, I got maybe a sale. And then he turns around and starts peeing in the sink. They don't give me a toilet down here. I got to pee in the sink. It's like, okay, I'm in showbiz.
Right. That is show business. That is showbiz.
Showbiz when you pee in the sink.
Yeah, right. It's people think it's the tuxedo on the stage, and it's everything behind the stage.
Mm.
Yeah. By the time you arrived in LA, what did you know about what was out here and the job situation and how it worked?
I knew zero, but I was teaching myself how to write half hours just by picking my favorite shows at the time. I think you know of the show, The New Heart,
sure,
Vermont show.
Mm-hmm.
That was my template, as well as It's Gary Shandling show.
Right.
So I just wrote with my mom's typewriter still in whiteout and whatever. Just
did you write spec scripts for those two shows?
Yes.
Okay.
I wrote like 3 of each.
Oh, interesting.
Just what else? I don't know how to. There's nobody who is going to help me or teach me. I just got to go.
Yeah.
Like the holy grail was I found a Whit Thomas show script at a bookstore, and it was like, wow.
Right.
That's how many jokes are on the page and 3 holes on the thing, so I kind of use that as my template. And in the meantime, I got to be friends with Bob Odenkirk, who came in to write for SNL, and he was coming into Improv to do stand-up. So I ended up writing just like freelance jokes for Dennis Miller for Weekend Update. So I got to hang out at the show and at the offices, and for some reason, I'd keep running into Alan Zweibel there. To like, this is odd. Like in the middle of Times Square, I ran into him, and he's just like, "What are you doing?" And I go, I'm still cranking out scripts, figuring things out." And he goes, "What have you been writing?" And I said, "Well, it's Gary Shandling's show," and Zweibel was co-creator. And he said, "Send me your best."
Right.
So then I hear from him 2 weeks later, and he says, "Can you come to LA?" And he had it wasn't for Gary's show. He had a show called The Boys.
Right.
And he had me come out, and that was my move to LA.
Oh, wow. My It's Gary Shandling show spec script got me my first job on a Tracy Ullman show.
Ah, how about that?
So there you go. That's what we share that in common. And also, it was not bought by It's Gary Shandling show.
Right.
But okay, so you came out here and with the job on The Boys. Yes. That show lasted for 14 years. So
yes,
you were locked with that.
I didn't hang anything in the office wall. Right. In fact, this is what it's like. I was getting paid $900 a week or something, and I'm so excited about that. My office was literally, as I'm walking down the hall, they're pulling the copying machine out and then going, "Here's your office." And it was like in the bathrooms and showers, you had to walk through my office, and Shandling was on the lot, in the offices a lot, and he'd come in and take a shower, and I'm like,
in your office?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Was it at Gower or the ABC Prospect?
Sunset Gower.
Sunset Gower, yeah.
But this was, to me, amazing. Like SNL, and I knew who Zweibel was. Anyone who wanted to be a writer knew Zweibel.
Yeah.
So I'm also, my first job, I'm at the table with him.
Yeah.
But you ask, like, what did I know coming out here? First I was like, wait a minute, you just sit in together in one room all day? And because I had worked on some weird cable shows in New York, and you write your stuff and then you hand it in, and it's like, well, so what do you mean you know?
Different when you're creating stories, right?
Yeah.
So like it's a whole different thing, sitting in a room, watching them. I was a runner on It's Scary Shandling's show.
Oh.
So I got to watch how they made the sausage and in the writer's room and how they sort of picked out the stories, what was rejected, what was accepted, and what Gary liked and what Alan liked and all that kind of stuff. So it was sort of, I got to see a little bit of how they made it. And then you can tell why it's helpful for a group of people, really smart people, to sit together and find what's good.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just my naivete too of like, oh, okay.
Did it take a while for you to sort of adjust to being in the room and figuring out when to speak up and when not to speak up?
Yes. The room throughout my whole career has been interesting because each room is a different date, a blind date, basically. So I still never got over the fact, like, I could be in one room and I'm like the king of the room.
Right.
And the very next job, I'm like, I got no, which is probably one of my weaknesses, because I think most writers can adapt to any room or tone or feeling and jump in. And
well, it's not that different from showing up at the bar with the cool kids and trying to make your way to impress the cool kids.
Right. Well, sometimes, it's, you do all your tricks, and if they're not responding, then you're fucked.
Right.
Like my test is, it's been called the up and away. So it's this. Like if somebody does a pitch and it's like just weird or outrageous or vaguely insulting or something, I pretend to be outraged. And with that, I just gather everything on the desk and just keep, and then storm out.
Right.
And if that doesn't get the right reaction, like one show I worked on, I'm getting PTSD already. I did that and stormed out of the room, and then they're all like, "Is he okay?" Oh shit! How do I?
So how long do you wait around the corner? And then when it didn't get the reaction you wanted, how long do you wait to bring the stuff back? Like that seems like a very interminable moment of just like, it's not going over, but I still have to bring my stuff back.
Well, it works 90% of the time.
Oh, I know. I've done it many times.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. What was your best writer's room experience?
Probably Futurama.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was there for, I'm never sure, 5 seasons or something. Mm-hmm. David X. Cohen is a fantastic showrunner because it's just a simple thing. It's like he doesn't get political. He doesn't create camps, which happens a lot in rooms. And anything you pitch is considered, or you're not like, are you okay? Why did you pitch that? It's about getting the work done and feeling free to, you don't put editors on. And you just get into the play. You find the play in the work.
There's a way to say no that doesn't hurt your feelings. Too. It's just like, not right for this one. It does not say you are a terrible person for pitching that.
Yeah. I worked for Ed Weinberger.
Oof.
That was my second job. Second job.
Famously a scary person.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I was 5 years old, I met Ed Weinberger. My dad worked with Ed Weinberger on the Dean Martin show or something like that. Uh-huh. And he scared the shit out of me. Not because he did anything. His countenance, his vibe gave off a very negative, mean.
Yeah, it was, there was grunting and grumbling, and you could almost see cartoon smoke coming out of his face. And
did you have a way with him? Like you could get past him?
Again, my second job, and, you'd pitch a joke and he'd be like, "You're not going to fight for that joke, are you?" I go, "I don't know, for a minute." Yeah, that'd be a foolish minute. Just be like, "Okay, so I shouldn't pitch? What do you want exactly?" But luckily on that show, I was with Alan Kirschenbaum and Phil Rosenthal. Mm-hmm. I worked on like 3 shows with those guys, and that was, it was fantastic. Alan
was delightful. Phil is delightful. Yeah, it's It's interesting that you all met in front of the least delightful guy. Ed E.D. period Weinberger.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. So what shows did you work on? Did you work on Down the Shore?
Yes.
Okay. How was that?
Great. That was great. Lou Schneider was in the cast, who stand-up comedy friend that you know, who's great, and it was just fun, relaxed, and again, it's a situation about just doing the work.
Right.
You know, we worked together on Coach. Coach was fantastic. It was like a country club.
Right.
It was like season 7.
Who was running Coach at the time?
Alan.
Alan?
I mean, first of all, Phil was there.
Right.
And Phil, the foodie, he would set it up where we would get lunch from around the country. He would order the day before. Right. What's today? We got crabs from Maryland. Oh, great. You know. Right. So that was great. And then Alan was a great showrunner. I mean, Alan can break 22 stories in like 2.5 days. Right. You know, so we would come in at 10, start at 10:30, talk for a half hour about where we're going to go for lunch. Right. You know, and then work for 2 hours, and then Alan and I would have a cigar break, and then work for 3 months. Alan
had the largesse of a guy who was 75 years old. Even when the time, I assume he was 33 or something. Yeah. He had the countenance of somebody who knew exactly what they were. It goes like this, and then it goes like this, and it goes like this, and goes like this. Now, great. If you're the showrunner, fantastic, because it will go like that and go like that. But that's not the only possibility. But if you say it like it's the only possibility and you're the showrunner, everybody's jumping on board. Right. It's a good day because you're getting to the next steps. Which is fantastic.
Well, it's funny. Technically, Ed Weinberger was the showrunner, creator, co-creator of the first show I worked with him and Phil. It was called Baby Talk, based on the Look Who's Talking. This was Tony Danza's voice as a talking baby, and I mean, it's where do you go from there? Right. I don't know. So Ed would show up 2 days a week, but the worst was he would show up the last run through before shoot, you know, and then go, no, it doesn't work. Right. And we're shooting the next day. So every Thursday, you know, at 7:00 at night, we're starting over for a shoot the next day.
For no reason, usually.
But Alan and Ed Weinberger, we'd be in the room, but they'd be together. Alan would just scribble on his script cover and go, all right, goes to the doctor doesn't have a thing. So they get a car and they drive across town to the wrong place. Right. And then Alan would break another story. Okay, so he's got to get to church, then he just scribbled the thing, all the acts. No, and then finally find a story. Right. There's 6 beats on bullet points on a page. Ed would leave, and then Alan would split scenes, and then we'd write from scratch.
Right. That is both remarkable and frustrating. Yes. It's such a waste of time. Yeah. Like, and usually the person who comes in and says, this doesn't work, who hasn't been in the room, you need to find a way to make it work, or suggest a way to make it work, and not have the sets that are already built, the actors who are already hired. You got to work within the box that is given. Very frustrating.
And this was a show that George Clooney was in.
Yeah.
Young George Clooney, who got in a fight with Ed Weinberger on the set in the run through. Clooney threw a script at his head, you know, and we stopped the run through, and Ed came into our offices and he says, I'm gonna break his legs. We go, what are you talking about? There's a guy I can call. Right. And Alan spent a half hour talking him down because it sounded like he could really do it. Right. I ran into George Clooney 4 or 5 years ago at a bar, and I knowing he wouldn't remember me, but I remember the incident. Right. And he said, that was the worst experience in my career. And I got in a fist fight with David O. Russell on Three Kings. So.
Are you boys funny? And are they interested in comedy?
Well, I had nothing to do with this, but they're Hollywood boys. One is working at a AI startup company that's developing cinematic tools to build basically movies and content out of whole cloth.
All right.
For example, my son built with AI and the tools they give him and the tools they're developing. It's a 50 seconds of animation. It's a guy running towards camera through a city, fast, zipping by. Right. And then throughout that time, the genre of the cartoon changes like 6 times.
Right.
So one is, Steamboat Willie, the other's anime, then it's a Spider-Man, and it changes, fully developed, fully realized. So in my experience in animation, that would be, $250,000 to make it. It would take 4.5 months. He did it for a few $100s in an afternoon.
Right.
So that's, the world we're in right now.
Yeah, it's an amazing tool that will help make amazing things, but it will also, a lot of people whose job it is to draw animated things will not be able to do that job.
Right. And my other son, I have identical twin boys. My other son is working in the agent program at CAA. So he's an agent's assistant over there.
So they are both show busy kids.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's good. So here, let's get to the point where, like, when we spoke, I said, "Hey, come do the show." He said, "Well, you got to catch me before I leave."
Yes.
And I was like, and I had seen your post on Facebook or Instagram saying you're hitting the road, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Now you're not the first of my friends in show business who decided to hit the road. Many of them don't go quite as far as Connecticut. They go to Santa Barbara or some other place. From the story that you've told me thus far, you've always been forward thinking.
Right.
And now that seems like that's part of what's going on. When was the decision made to say, okay, let's get out of here and let's figure out a place to go?
It was, again, kind of what we've been talking about. It's like listening to my instincts, really trying to pay attention to what's going on.
Right.
And what I've been doing. And so all of a sudden I felt like there's going to start to be limits. Mm-hmm. The first red flag was when my agent said, we need a picture along with your submissions. I'm like, that's not good.
Right.
I don't like that.
Right.
Then COVID, kind of capsized everything, for a long time.
Right.
And I started to feel vulnerable, not only health-wise, but like, I'm going to feel like I'm starting over again.
Right.
And then I kind of find my footing. Then there's strikes. And then I'm vulnerable again. Right. But during this time, I'm working, but it's all stuff online. I'm not leaving my house. Right. It's development. It's spec scripts. Right. It's all that stuff. So I'm at home. I'm at home for 4 years.
Right.
So I look at the rising cost of everything around me. Also, there again, it's like a whole series of things. Like they changed the zoning in our neighborhood where they could start building, 4plexes. Mm-hmm. So okay, my value of my property is going to start to go down.
Right.
The fires were a little scary.
Right.
Even the Trump stuff I got. It's like I'm going to feel vulnerable again.
Yeah.
Plus I'm looking at 50 years, I think, in this business.
Right.
I'm not a kid, because I also feel like unless it's a bunch of friends, I can't really see myself going into a sitcom room right now.
Right.
Because I am the age of everyone's dad.
Right.
So that unless it's my own show,
right,
fine, of course. But, so I'm not fighting for that. And I started writing screenplays, mm-hmm. and I'm loving it, so I could live anywhere and do that. And then to see what the property I can get, for a quarter of the price of where I'm at right now. And my sons are well entrenched in mm-hmm. their career. They're launched. Right. So I felt like, if I'm going to ever move, now's the time.
Right. And then is the plan to continue writing and continue right there and do screenplays and that kind of stuff?
Yes. I sold a series in Canada.
Oh, congratulations.
8 episodes. It's with, I worked with these guys, the Trailer Park Boys. Mm-hmm. And they have a production company, and they have a lot of cachet.
They do.
And
big deal.
They have this weird business model that it's like, we'll just make the shows and sell them. Let's do it.
Right.
And like, okay. So that is starting kind of right away. So I get to bring LA Stress with me,
right.
But
where are they shooting?
In Halifax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of the best of both worlds right there, So it's kind of a nice time to segue into the next life. And now I'm like in an acre of land and more rooms in a house than I need. And just, and I have family there, So it certainly makes sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, Connecticut's beautiful. It can be.
And also too, it's I feel like friends are moving away.
Right.
Friends are passing away.
Yeah.
So it's just not the same.
It's definitely, things have changed, and yes, it's weird when people leave. Weirder when people die. I'm always surprised by that.
Yeah, I always kind of I talk about this in my book because there's always something interesting, I think, in if you got to go back and talk to your 17-year-old self.
What's the title of the book?
It's a Funny Thing.
And it's available on
your Amazons and your
Amazons.
But I think there's always an interesting thing for maybe anyone who is in show business. Mm-hmm. If I were able to go and talk to my 17-year-old self,
yes,
and say, here's what's going to happen in your life, mm-hmm. I would be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, Hollywood sadly has this thing of helping you forget your accomplishments, I think.
Right.
But again, if you were able to talk to your kid self, it's like, I worked with who? I did what? It's like.
Our business is about rejection.
Right.
Constant and total and always rejection. And even when you sell something, you're punched in the face by a bad number that they want to pay you, right, or something. That's a constant barrage of negativity thrown at you while you're even being successful at doing what you're doing.
Right. And then when there is success, you don't even necessarily get a pat on the back.
Right.
That's why I think I put too much weight in awards. Right. Again, the part of the winning the Emmy was not about I showed the business what I could do. I'm talking to my 17-year-old self.
Right.
Look at what we did. Now I'll work forever.
What'd you win the Emmy for?
Futurama.
What are the shows did you beat? You beat The Simpsons?
Yes.
Family Guy?
I think so. Bob's Burgers.
Bob's Burgers. All right.
Yeah.
Good for you.
But it was a fun night.
That's the point.
Yeah.
It's a fun night. You get to go up on stage, you take the trophy. Yeah. I feel like the times when you didn't win didn't mean the show wasn't the best show, and the times when you win doesn't mean the show's the best show, but it is fun to get the trophy.
Right.
The hardware is
right.
fun.
It's a goalpost, I guess,
right,
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. My dad, growing up, had 3 Emmys on his shelf. So I figured, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. But I wound up getting 4 Emmys. One more than my dad. And there's something, it was a joy in that. Even though I know Emmys are not anything, and as time goes on, Emmys may not exist anymore. I don't even know how they would adjust those awards. The Oscars and Emmys are all just one award soon? I don't know. One
of my most proud things, though, and I didn't know how to share it, but I created the first animated series for what was supposed to be YouTube Red. So they were trying to create that into a
right.
And when it was to be released, a building on Sunset over near where Tower Records was, a 9-story
right.
building, they put the whole building for the premiere of the show. It was a big billboard.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So you're driving through Sunset
right.
Strip and there's a thing up there.
I love that. I always, when I've ever created a show, I was like, where's our billboards? And they say, the billboards don't do anything. They don't advertise it. They don't have. It's all ego. It's like for the ego of the show or the studio or the. I said, well, I have an ego. Put a sign up for me.
Yeah. And that's what it is. I think it's like when that's kind of, sadly, I guess, sort of a pat on the back. You know. So then you feel like when you're starting to have success and more people are calling, in my brain I'm going, well, the second I'm like do 2 bad things in a row, well, nobody's going to call me again. You know what I mean? Right. And the answer is probably, you're only, when you're hot, as Jerry Reed once said, and when you're not, you're not. And it's so kind of, you get so beat up, like this series in Canada, every step of the way everything is happening. Like today, it's like, all right, let's go to HR, figure out what the deal is and what the payment schedule. Right. And I'm still in my mind, I'm like, it's not happening. Right. I don't believe it. All right. It is happening. That's great. And then you get to make it good. Well, we'll see about that. No, you will. I mean, that's the beauty of it is you get to go do it and mix it up. And when there are problems, you fix them, and that's great. What's fun about the Canadian structure, like working with the Trailer Park Boys, is they just maybe it's like the old school, like Wood Thomas or whatever, where they don't have to deal with executives. Right. It was just me and those guys writing the show, and then you go make them.
Right.
And that's it. So that's kind of what this will be. It'll be, I'm in control. I don't have to answer to anybody. And
Right, but you still have to answer yourself. Sometimes you write stuff that's not going to work, and then you have to fix it, or you think it's working, and they put it up on stage, or the actors say, "Well, that's something's wrong here," and you still have to fix it.
Right.
There's always those challenges every time.
Right, but I've been in situations, I'm sure you have, where executives a lot of them are kind of justifying their job, or you're on track for one thing, and then, I just saw this movie about vampires. We should do it that way. You're like,
right.
Development almost killed me. I mean, it was the first time I just went kind of really deep into development stuff, and we developed a thing for Nicolas Cage, an animated thing for Fox.
Right.
It was called Nicolas Cage is a Vampire.
Right.
Based on him being really a vampire.
Okay.
And you end up spending years, right?
Right.
And we'd write a draft, and it'd take a month to hear from Nicolas Cage, and then we hear from him. We trace the notes, and can we talk to him now? Well, he's in Bolivia.
More screaming. I want more screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went on for 2 years, and finally we got it to, he likes the script. Fox likes the script.
Right.
I set up a table read at Fox, got all my favors from Futurama voice people and all the,
Right.
And luckily I said, Nicolas Cage is very mercurial.
Right. It may not show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to set it up. And he said he loved the script. The day before, I don't want to do this. Right. And then there it goes.
Right.
Hooray.
Yeah.
So
right. It's not the first time I've heard that story. Not about that show, but about a million other shows.
Right.
It's very hard. It's very hard.
And you just learn to kind of laugh at it or expect it. And I kind of encourage celebrating each step.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of course, if you sell a script, you're gonna, and they say they want to make it, you don't go, oh, they're gonna make it. You go, oh, so and so is now attached to the project. Just go out, have a drink with friends, celebrate those moments, and not really expect it to happen. If it happens, that's icing on the cake. You know?
Celebrate the step is right, because you've done something.
Yeah.
You finished a draft. You've gotten approval of something. I agree with that completely. I don't do it enough, but I should do it more. All right. Well, now it's time for listener mail.
Now it's time for listener mail.
As Dear Jan guessed, what's not funny?
Wow. There's so many ways to answer that, because there's a lot of not funny.
Pick one.
I don't know if I should say that, but I sometimes feel like actors who are good, strong actors, and then they think they're funny.
Right.
And try to be funny.
Right.
They may get laughs, and then they think they're funnier.
Right.
And they're, 6 layers in deep of not being funny, but thinking they're funny.
That can happen. I'm always asking myself, what's not funny? Is there something are there subjects or areas that are too sad to be funny? And I think not. I think there are approaches that are make things sad and unhappy, and there are approaches that make it funny. Anthony Jeselnik, there's no area that Anthony Jeselnik approaches that's not funny. Mm-hmm. He finds a way to make it funny, whether it's molestation or death or cancer or anything, the Holocaust. He's made jokes about them all, and they're funny. So there's not a subject matter that's too sad or too horrible to be funny. There are ways to do things that are absolutely unfunny. And
a context, I guess that's why the roasts, it's like, this is a roast, so you have to understand that we can make fun of your mom dying of cancer.
Right.
This is the field which we're playing.
Do you find it interesting that some people are super offended, or at least shocked that that's still on the table? I mean, I thought it strange that people were upset about the Tom Brady roast, because it's like, well, those jokes. I said, well, those are roast jokes. That's what people are signing up for.
Right.
But people were saying, no, well, it's too far and it's not right.
I think people didn't understand the roast idea. People don't. There's some people still don't understand what roasts are.
Or don't approve. Maybe they understand, but they say, well, there shouldn't be. There still should be, those things should be off limits.
I know. But it's like, it's a baseball game, but why are you using a baseball?
Right.
I mean, it doesn't, I'm not sure. That's the whole point of a roast, is to be shocking and hopefully funny,
For me, Gutfield is not funny. I don't know if you've seen that show on Fox.
Yes.
Okay, so like they say things as if they're saying something funny.
Right.
And then the punchline is wokeness or something like that. And it's like, and I'm very happy with conservative, liberal. I don't care if the joke's structured, the joke's great, but they don't have a structure.
Right.
They just have a catchphrase.
They're comedy adjacent, I guess.
Yeah. And that's very frustrating to me. All right, so now it's time for a moment of joy.
Oh.
A moment of joy.
A moment of joy.
Is she in town?
Oh,
see, the
please.
old,
You're still back.
the old
You still
stuff.
got it.
You gotta see the musicality of that. Come on.
So this is where you tell me
Yes.
something that brings you joy. And it cannot be
Hello.
work,
Look out.
can't be family,
Hello.
something else.
Like I would say that anyway. Come on, Jay, for Christ's sakes. I will say this.
Yes.
Community, but especially for me, more selfishly, like the comedy community,
Right.
comedy friends. It's been part of my life since, I was a teenager in the Improv in New York. So you meet these like minds,
Right.
and it's a safe zone,
Right.
and it's a fun zone, and it's playful, and you get to be a kid in
Right.
a way. Like for as long as you can say anything and do anything and be idiots, and it's something I just generated my whole career. That the lunch for 25 years, comedy writers, comedy friends, comedians. I had this Tuesday night drink night with comics and comedy friends that went on for 15 years until COVID, and it still continues on Zoom. So I would have parties at my house.
By the way, thank you for not inviting me to any of these things. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure.
Jay is my unrequited friend.
No, I kid, but I've always liked you. I feel like we're part of you talked about that comedy group. We're in that comedy group together.
Yes.
So I feel part of that.
You've been to parties at my house when I was sharing a house with Billiam.
Yeah.
We had that house in Larchmont, and I brought these factions of people together, like the sitcom actors, the comedy writers, the stand-ups from New York, and people created relationships. And it's how I met my wife, through community, because this doesn't happen anymore. And this is what's changed. Is there used to be a shoot night in sitcoms,
Right.
And then all the actors, writers, everybody would meet at one or two bars, and then everybody got to know each other, and everybody ended up working together. And it's where I met my wife. You get jobs that way,
Right.
And that's probably even another reason I'm moving, because we don't have that anymore.
Not as much, yeah. It's few and far between, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Rowe, thank you for being here.
This is swell. I had a blast.
Thank you for moving to Los Angeles, 40 years ago. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Good decision. You make a lot of good decisions.
Well, we'll see what happens next.
All right. But thanks for being here. And thank you for being here, audience of Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan. You are much appreciated. Please spend time with somebody you want to spend time with in person. It's good to have a conversation. Very helpful. And if you get the chance, you drop me a line at dbawjk@gmail.com. And you can tell me what you hate about me and my life and the show, or you can tell me what you like, and you can suggest a listener mail question. But I like to have a conversation, so that would be nice. So keep a conversation going between us, and have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Don't be alone with Jake Hogan.